praise.
Hey, Funketeers, Bootsy here to bring the Truth and Rhythm family's attention to Funk Not Fight. Yeah, this is a call to action. We spread hope, not hate, to gain satisfaction throughout our communities via the music uplifting unity. Peppermint Patty, tell us a little more.
Thinker is our partner. Thinker Music, that is. So please check the link that's scrolling across the bottom, click it, and submit your music.
Let's all funk, not fight.
Well, hello there, and welcome to 2022's Truth and Rhythm Year in Review. Hope you're having a great holiday season and that the season brings you much joy and happiness and good fortune and good health and all that great stuff throughout the end of 2022 and going into 2023. I am Scott, Dr. GX Goldfine, your host for Truth and Rhythm always. And I thank you so much for following the program, for joining me on this special. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got a lot of stuff to share with you. Just up ahead, we're going to review what took place during the past year personally, musically, and in regards to Truth and Rhythm. That will include revealing the top 20 funk, soul, and jazz albums of the year. And not only that, but the top 10 rock and blues albums of the year and the top 10 reissued albums of the year. We'll also see Truth and Rhythm's top 10 most viewed episodes and top 10 most commented on episodes of the year, as well as take a look at the top 10 episodes of all time since the show began. We'll honor those that we lost during the year, and we'll look ahead to the next year in music, as well as the next year in Truth and Rhythm, with a sneak peek at upcoming episodes. Last but far from least, stick around. If you've seen it before, you know what I'm talking about. It's the annual Stars Holiday Cheer Wishes to the Truth and Rhythm audience, exclusive for you guys. We got about 25 stars this time, and they're going to talk about their wishes for you and your family and your friends, and just for the community and for music in the world. So it's fantastic. Thank you so much to all of them for participating once again. Just as a reminder for maybe those who don't know, what is this show about? This show is about preserving the legacies of the artists and key figures in funk, jazz, soul, rhythmic-based music. It's to honor and shine a light on contemporary music, foremost of the groove. And the way we do that is by getting them in a relaxed, open environment where they can, talk and they're not constantly interrupted, and they're asked intelligent questions from somebody who loves the music and who's passionate about it and has schooled up on it. And I try to be very prepared for every show. Hopefully that shows and you appreciate it. The comments certainly seem to indicate that, which I so much appreciate the feedback always. And I recommend, if you're wondering what the Truth and Rhythm difference is compared to all the podcasts that have especially come out of the woodwork since the pandemic, they're not all equal. I hope you'll realize that. And, every time I do a show, I set out to make it the definitive, most comprehensive interview that artist has ever or will ever do. And a lot of the cases, these are artists that have not had a platform that they should have, especially the, old school artists going back to the 60s or 70s in, funk or soul or jazz. They haven't had as much exposure as I believe they should have. And so I'm rectifying that for now and for always with Truth and Rhythm. And thank you so much for your interest and support and for being passionate about these fantastically talented people that have given us so much joy throughout the years. Speaking of support, there's a lot of ways to support this program, and there's a lot of time put in, there's expense put in. It's a labor of love for me, but just at least, enough support to help, make it a wash, basically, is appreciated. So you can do that through Patreon membership. You can make a donation anytime at the funkandstuff.net website. You can also now join through YouTube memberships, which are very similar to Patreon. And as you're watching the show, you can do donations through YouTube. You can do super chats. You can do super stickers, super thanks. You can send things in through PayPal, through Venmo now. Venmo is a relatively new development. And, you can also support the show through merchandise. There's all kinds of, Funk and Stuff and Truth and Rhythm merchandise available at the Funk and Stuff store. The link is on the funkandstuff.net website, and also now newly added YouTube. There's links below the videos that you can get cool merchandise and support the show at the same time. How can you beat that? Also, new designs were introduced during 2022. There's enough time for the holiday. Get your orders in now, immediately, for gifts for yourself, and support the program. Another wonderful way to support the program and also get a gift for yourself or for someone else for the holiday is the book, Everything's on the One, The First Guide to Funk. If you don't already have your copy, what are you waiting for? It's chock full of all kinds of great stuff on the history of funk, but especially reviews of funk recordings and albums, and a ton of lists. And it's a lot of fun, and tells you more about myself too. So my background in the music industry and long time as a disc jockey and all that good stuff. So get it at Amazon. All right. So, these donations support the program, as I've said, and, you see it in the production. It's come a long way, baby. There's all kinds of things that have been added, much more in the post-production, and it's more polished. There's many more camera angles now. I think there's 4 or 5 cameras being used on the program. So hopefully you see and appreciate these enhancements and all that's brought to it. It's mostly just a one-person operation myself, doing everything from, recruiting and coordination of the show, researching, administrating the show, hosting, producing, editing, marketing, promoting. It's just, incredible amount of work. And those of you who have tried your hand at doing this yourself in some way, or, doing a book on your own or music on your own, nowadays, you have a good idea what I'm talking about. So thank you so much. Anything you can give is so much appreciated. And if it's only your interest in fandom, that's good too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, yes. Also, can't forget the theme music to the show is from Pleasure. It's credited in the intro and outro, but I still get questions, who is the music by? And it's so graciously provided by one of the great funk bands of all time, Pleasure. So thank you again to them. So just a little bit more about, what transpired for myself during the year. So good to kind of start to get free from this pandemic craziness of the past couple of years. My son, who you'll see maybe at the end of the show, we'll see if he comes out for that. Nathan, he's driving, got his first car this year. He's a senior in high school. I can't believe where's the time gone. Wow. We took the first family vacation since before the pandemic, went to my native Los Angeles, and it was so good to be back in my old stomping grounds. And my nephew, been enjoying watching him grow up down in Florida. Thank goodness my wife's family survived, some slings and arrows they took during the hurricane a couple of months back down in South Florida, but on the Gulf side where the hurricane was zero. But they've gone through. Continued prayers to everyone down there for their recovery. Myself, I've been trying to stay lean and fit as I started during the pandemic, and I'm down a good 80 pounds, and I'm trying to keep it off and doing a lot of bicycling. If you're wondering how I'm managing it, some people like to ask. So you can do it as you get older, and with all these viruses or whatever out there for us, you got to stay fit and in shape. Do what you can. There's only so much you can control, but you can control what goes in your mouth, and you can control how active you are. So do it. Fit for Funk. I gotta say, you might notice this holiday hat has a little bit of a star there. Let's see. So love them or hate them. I'm a Cowboys fan, as you can probably see by the memorabilia back there, and enjoying the season they're having. So go Cowboys. As far as music goes, I only got to one concert in 2022. I wish more would come through my area, which is the Charlotte area, but I saw Mother's Finest over the summer, and it was great to see them still doing it. And actually, Joyce Kennedy is going to be on the show early in 2023. So there's one quick advance preview there. And I want to take a moment to also promote how you can enjoy the funk besides through Truth and Rhythm and actually hear the music itself. And that's through a lot of the great online radio programs that are out there. So right now, I'm going to roll a clip and review what those are. I'll be back. Funk radio out there. For those of you who don't know, you need to check it out on Spreaker.com and also pfunkradio.com. People like Ricky Vincent, well, he's been doing the history of funk forever, but that's also on the internet now, not just on the radio on Friday nights. And Gabe Gonzalez, known as Gonzilla, who's been on the show, he does a great show on Wednesday nights on P-Funk Radio. And Larry Funkster Jones, he does Saturday nights on P-Funk Radio. Phil Colley, he does Sunday nights now and also Tuesday nights. Uncut Funk, don't miss Phil. Also Robin Austin Denton, doing her show, The Circle of P, on Sunday mornings. And there's others too. I'm sorry if I'm leaving anyone out, but you can pretty much get a great funk radio show live online now just about every day of the week, or probably every day of the week, sometimes multiple times per day. Hey, okay, back. In addition to those, another is Modern Retro Radio, which is modernretroradio.com. And that's one that I contribute to. I do funk specials. They've been averaging every quarter or so. And I've done 5 of them now. The last one debuted right around Thanksgiving. And every time I'm picking 12 of the greatest funk tracks of all time. It's picked by me with stories behind them, some of my personal experiences related to those songs and artists. So you don't want to miss that. And all of the shows are available on demand at funkandstuff.net. So check those out if you haven't already. I touched on it before about, what makes Truth and Rhythm different from other interview shows or podcasts. And I talked about some of that, but there is a lot of a difference, and there's a letter I wrote that's posted at funkandstuff.net under the Truth and Rhythm menu item that describes exactly why it's different. Anyway, that's a compelling case that I made, and you can read it yourself on the funkandstuff.net website. All right, here's some fun stuff for me. Let's talk about the year in Truth and Rhythm. During the year, 47 new shows world premiered. That's about 90 hours of viewing or listening. We gained more than 3,000 more subscribers during the year. That compares to 2,000 in 2021. That's all organic, about 250 new people every month joining the Truth and Rhythm family. It's a beautiful thing. There's been nearly 500,000 views during 2023. That compares to 250,000 last year. And 10.5 million impressions versus 4.2 million in 2021. So more than double. Nearly 90,000 hours or 500, it's been nearly 90,000 hours or 5.4 million minutes of programming consumed. That's only on YouTube, not including the podcasts that are available throughout, all the leading providers. And the videos, in some cases, are also available elsewhere. 90,000 hours. That compares to 54,000 in 2021. During 2022, 13,000, actually more than 13,000 likes compared to 7,900 the previous year. 6,500 shares and 2,200 comments. And the website, funkinstuff.net, also had a traffic increase of 19% for the year to an all-time high of visitors. So phenomenal year, so much growth, all organic. There's advocates of what's being done here to preserve these legacies, and thank you to being part of that support and being a viewer and sharing it, sharing the musical love. So right now, let's take a look. It's going to scroll by of those 47 episodes. And I'm just going to pull out a couple that really jumped out to me during the year. James Alexander of the Bar-Kays, the bassist, original member of the Bar-Kays, who, when he came to the group, he didn't even know how to play bass. He learned on the job as a teenager. So how's that? It was a thrill to get him on the show for sure. Everyone who's been on was a thrill. I got to say that, but I don't have time to talk about them all. And some of them just were especially gratifying and thrilling for me personally. Styx Hooper, the last surviving member of the Crusaders, the drummer of the band, having him on. I was hoping to have him on for a few years. It was so great to finally see it happen. And, you definitely, if you only watch a few Truth and Rhythms, don't miss these ones that I'm mentioning for sure. Ronald LaPred of the Commodores, their bass player, had him on all the way from New Zealand, where he's lived for 30 years. And again, that was a work in progress for some time that came to fruition, and that was a joy. Tawatha Agee, the lead singer of Mtume, so great to have her on. And, she was a delight. That's all I can say. You don't want to miss that one. She's been on so many great recordings through the years, many more than just Mtume. One of the best of so many Prince-related shows I've done in interviews, Michael Bland, the MPG drummer. That was so in-depth, not only talking about Prince, but also Jeff Lee Johnson's and Soul Asylum, who he's now part of that band, that it had to go 4 parts in 2 episodes. BT Express had wanted to get original members of that band on forever. They reissued Do It Till You Satisfied this year with some extra tracks, and I got original members Bill Risbrook and Rick Thompson on, and that was fantastic. And just 3 in a row were so fantastic toward the fall of the year, because that was followed by Candy Dulfer, the sax player that played with Prince and the MPG, and many other acts related to Prince, including The Time and several others. And it was so good to have her on. She was just a delight also. And that was all the way from the Netherlands, where she lives. Amsterdam, as a matter of fact. Had Judy Worrell on, the widow of Bernie Worrell, keyboard genius of P-Funk. So fantastic to have her on and hear her side of things, really find out about the man, what Bernie was like as a person, as well as a musical genius. Rusty Allen, the bass player who succeeded Larry Graham with Sly Stone and was the guy who laid down the bass for Fresh, one of the greatest funk albums of all time. And then lastly, closed out the year with another Prince-related interview, Levi Ceasar Jr., who was the band director of the MPG, was the original member of the New Power Generation with Prince, played guitar, played bass. So great to have him on. If you haven't seen that show, it just debuted last week, so don't miss that one. And thank you again to everyone who's been on the program. So much appreciated. So with that, let's talk about the most viewed episodes of the year. Here we go. Drum roll. Truth and Rhythm, most viewed episodes of 2022, counting down. And keep in mind that some of these that, debuted later in the year were at a disadvantage. So if they're ranking high, that's especially impressive. And number 10 is a case in point. Candy Dulfer at number 10, part 1. At number 9 was Styx Hooper from the Crusaders. Number 8 most viewed show of 2022, Lisa Coleman from Prince. That's actually from a few years ago, part 2 of her interview. Number 7, Thomas McClary of the Commodores, also an interview from a few years ago, still getting the eyeballs and the ears at number 7. Number 6, Judy Worrell, the widow of Bernie, who I just mentioned, part 1. Number 5 most viewed episode of the year, Lisa Coleman from Prince and The Revolution, part 1 of her interview. Coming in at number 4 was Ronald LaPred, another Commodores-related entry, and that was part 2 of his interview. Coming at number 3 was The Whispers. I think that show debuted last year, 2021, still red hot, part 2 of that interview with the Scott brothers. That was really fun. Number 2 most viewed episode of 2022 was Ronald LaPred of the Commodores, part 1. And number 1 most viewed episode of 2022, The Whispers, part 1, the Scott brothers. And you know something? That got double the amount of views of number 2. So people have really loved that particular episode. Moving on. The 10 most commented on episodes of the year. So what really stimulated viewers to comment? For every comment that's posted, there's hundreds, if not thousands, others who, have similar thoughts, but just don't go through the effort to post. So really appreciate the people that go the extra step and post. They're overwhelmingly positive, thankfully, but it's great to actually hear from people. So number 10, most commented on episode of the year was Janice Marie Johnson, the bass player from A Taste of Honey, part 1. Number 9, Tawatha Agee of Mtume fame, part 1 of her interview. Number 8, most commented on episode of 2022, Candy Dulfer, part 1. Coming in number 7, Styx Hooper, most commented on episode of the year. Number 6, Judy Worrell, again, the wife and manager of Bernie Worrell. And part 1 of her interview came at number 5 for the most commented on episodes. Number 4, Ronald LaPred, part 2. Number 3, most commented on episode of the year, The Whispers, part 2. Number 2, part 1 of Ronald LaPred from the Commodores. And number 1, most commented on episode of 2022 is again The Whispers, part 1. So congratulations to all those that have appeared in the top 10. Okay, right now, before we move on, I want to take just a couple of minutes to honor and recognize those that we lost during the year that were either musicians or important figures to the music business. This is not a comprehensive list, but I feel it's one of most interest to Truth and Rhythm viewers and the Truth and Rhythm audience. So, rest in peace, Patrick Adams, dance music producer. We lost him. Irene Cara, far too young, lost her. Coolio, of course, the rapper, also lost too young. Betty Davis, queen, one of the queens of funk for sure, one of the original queens of funk. Lamont Dozier, one of the top Motown figures. Taylor Hawkins, big tragedy from the Foo Fighters. Michael Henderson. Now, Michael Henderson, we lost during the summer, and I had been communicating with him several times, trying to get him on Truth and Rhythm. Never made it happen, so that's a big regret. Jimmy Johnson, the fantastic blues and rock and roll keyboard player. Syl Johnson, songwriter. Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, we lost him, rock and roll legend. Ramsey Lewis, just a giant of jazz keyboard. Loretta Lynn, a giant of country music. We lost Charles McCormick, who was one of the main members of Bloodstone, and he has been on Truth and Rhythm. If you haven't seen that, recommend you do, and rest in peace to him. We lost Meatloaf, rock singer Meatloaf. Very recently, we lost Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac, singer-songwriter. Early in the year, we lost James Ntume, which, he's been on the program, and he was, such a gracious guest and such a giant in jazz, funk, and R&B music. Had Hubert Eves III on, who was part of Ntume, the band. He was on, recorded it before we knew that Ntume had passed. And it's all the more poignant, I think, to hear him talk about Ntume in that interview. Then later on the year with Tawatha Agee, got very emotional because he was such a mentor to her. So rest in peace, James Ntume. We lost Olivia Newton-John, singer, of course, famous through the Grease film. We lost record executive Mo Austin. We lost Jim Seals, singer-songwriter. Calvin Simon, an original member of Parliament, we had to say goodbye to. Singer Ronnie Spector, lost her. R&B singer Timmy Thomas. We lost Ohio Players drummer Greg Webster. We also said goodbye to Earth, Wind & Fire saxophonist Andrew Woolfolk. And lastly on the list, Bernard Wright. Again, we lost far too young, and I had also been in communication with him to get him on the show, and he wanted to do it. He just wanted to get some new music out first, and we ran out of time. So, that's the thing. As I'm reaching out to these folks, it's kind of a race against time in a lot of cases, where I'm trying to get them to come on to preserve their legacy and share it with all of us and share it for generations to come. And so, it's just extra tragic to me when I'm not able to capture and preserve that. So rest in peace to all of those great artists and music figures. And let's hope that somehow we have fewer in 2023. But moving on. So during the last year, it was fantastic to see resumptions of live music and tours after the pandemic. Also, we saw some fruits of the studio work that musicians were able to do and kind of, woodshed during the pandemic, isolated, not able to tour, just in their own thing. Maybe it was harder to play together with other folks, but it was a great time to, compose things, to really think, to conceptualize, maybe do things remotely. And so we're seeing the fruits of that labor finally, I think, with a lot of the 2022 releases, and I look forward to seeing that develop more in the year ahead. Some artists even released multiple albums during 2022. That's how pent up they were with material. I do want to point out The Summer of Soul, the documentary by Questlove, won the Oscar for Best Documentary. How awesome was that? Fantastic movie, so well deserved. But let's see more archival footage like that of R&B and funk artists. There's just not enough out there on YouTube. A lot of it is probably just buried places. It needs to be brought out. And news that he's going to do a Sly Stone documentary is very exciting. Can't wait to see that. And hoping to see really well documentaries on Prince. And I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But for now, we're going to look at the top 20 funk, soul, and jazz album picks of the year. This is a list of funk and stuff. This is a list you want to pay attention to. And after this show, the links will be available at the funkandstuff.net site. You can review the list again and also click on the links there to sample these records and to purchase them. So I very much encourage you to do that to support these artists. Now, this is in alphabetical order, okay? Starting us out, top 20 albums of 2022 in the funk, soul, and jazz categories. Morris Day, Last Call, says this is his final album. Will it be? I hope that doesn't mean we won't see the original 7 again do something, that's for sure. But nice outing for Mr. Day. Dopapod, their self-titled album, is next on the list, and I just discovered this band through opening a George Clinton show. I think they did a few shows, but earlier in the year in the springtime, and the album's very cool. Candy Dulfer, she had not released a record in quite some time, and We Never Stop. It's got some great guests on it. I think Marcus Miller and Nile Rodgers are among those. Next up, we have Enema Squad with Diarona Deluxe. This is just an EP, but it's an impressive collection of 6 tracks, it might be 7, and just, real funk, courtesy of Gabe Gonzalez. And it's got some great funketeers on there. Michael Hampton's on there, among several others. Garrett Scheider, and so forth. So check that out. Exiles of the Nation makes this list once again, The Obstacle Curse, and that is Defiance Douglas, kind of a one-man show he is, but he keeps pumping out those records. I think he's done like 20 of them now. Quite a bit off the radar for a lot of folks, but those in the know. He pushes the envelope. Congratulations to him. Fantastic Negrito, White Jesus Black Problems. I had Cornelius Mims on the show during 2023, and he's the bass player for the band. We talk about that group some. We talk more about some of his other studio work and being part of the group Tease. But that is a very cool band. Sort of a one-man act, really, but he plays bass on it. And if you want something a little different, definitely check out Fantastic Negrito. Next up is a record that wasn't officially released during the year. Hopefully it will be in 2023, but it was made available through YouTube. And this is Funkadrill, Release the Funk. Release the Funk. And this is a collaboration that includes Boogie Mawson, and I think Gary Scheider's on it too, but it's mainly also Spacey T is on there playing guitar. But it's the main brainchild behind it is Neftali Santiago from Mandrill, the great drummer from that band. And, he's behind this. He is Funkadrill, basically. So look for that. It is pretty impressive, great funk. Next up, we have the Headhunters with Speakers in the House. This still features 2 original Headhunters and Bill Summers on percussion and Mike Clark on drums. And it's very varied, but fantastic. You got to check that out. Headhunters. Like to hear some Blackbird McKnight back with them, but nonetheless, still very good. Next up is Martha High, who worked with James Brown, and she was on the show. Delight also, and Soul Brother, Where Art Thou, Volume 2. Is remakes of JB classics, and you don't want to miss that. It's got Fred Wesley on there and all kinds of other great people. Ryan Jackson, the other half of Gil Scott-Heron, his partner, his musical muse, if you will. He came back with an album, This Is Brian Jackson, so you don't want to miss that. So glad he's still doing it. Then we have Jazz Funk Soul with Forecast, and this is the Jeff Lorber group that also features Paul Jackson Jr. on guitar. Paul Jackson Jr. has been on the show. Jeff Lorber I've been after. Jeff, you got to come on the show. People want to see you and hear about you. So check out that record too. Next one was a big surprise. Didn't even know this existed. It came out pretty late in the year. And that's a live recording of Juni Morrison in 1975. And it's amazing to hear that. He does, of course, some Junie material, some early Ohio Players material, but he also does FOP, the 1975 Ohio Players Classic, which is surprising because he was long gone from the band at that point. Next up, we have Joyce Kennedy, Rockin' My Soul. This is an EP, and the lead singer of Mother's Finest. She's going to be on the show early in 2023, so look out for that. To me, she's a national treasure, amazing vocalist. Next up, we have Lettuce with Unify, another great release, super funky by that band, newer generation of Funketeers. Marlon McClain, the fantastic guitar player from Pleasure and Daz Band and so many people he's worked with. He released another EP of funk and his Funky Fridays. If you follow him on Facebook, he lays down, real quick licks on his guitar every Friday that he shares with people just to bring a smile to their face. So thank you, Marlon, and congratulations. Next up, we have the third release, Mofo Rising. This is 3 straight Decembers. I'm pretty sure they all came out in December. Mofo Rising features Kurt Surley primarily, but also Domino on keyboards. And there's a guest on it that some of you may be familiar with. He certainly can rip on guitars. Ishan Cooper from Australia. He's playing on a couple of tracks, so check that one out also. And then we have Motherfunkaholics, and this is No More Fucks to Give. So this is a group I also discovered during the year. Very cool. And Garrett Scheider's on this one too. And that track in particular is smoking. So you got to check out that whole record. Next up, I said that some people released 2 albums during the year. Red Hot Chili Peppers only released 2 albums during the year, but the equivalent of 2 double albums during the year. After having none for so long, they got the original guitarist John Frusciante back again. And these are the funkiest things they've done, I would say, since 2006, Stadium Arcadium. So Unlimited Love was the first one, and Return of the Dream Canteen was the one that came out in October of 2022. And probably Canteen is even funkier than the first one. So, there's a lot of stuff on there besides funk. It's very varied, but so great to hear that bass, drums, and the guitar. Again, hear them just grooving. There's nothing quite like the way they do it. Not today, anyway. Next up is Seol with Choitu. Hopefully I said that right. He's had a number of projects, heavily Prince-influenced in his sound, and very cool stuff. Another guy, kind of like Exiles of the Nation, that is a bit under the radar, but he's so faithful to what he does. Congratulations to him. Final top 20 entry for funk, jazz, and soul records for funk and stuff is Snarky Puppy with Empire Central. This is a double set that was recorded live in studio or in a small venue anyway, and just has so much life to it and so much variance, jazz, funk, all instrumental, really cool. Bernard Wright is actually featured on there as well. And now that we've lost him, it's just that much more moving to hear him on a track with them too. So there's your top 20. Moving on, top 10 rock and blues albums of 2022. And those of you who maybe are only into funk, jazz, and soul, open up your mind a little bit, especially to blues. A lot of these blues records, have some funky elements to them. And even the rock, there can be some funk influence in rock. So be open-minded. And those of you who are into people like Funkadelic and Slave that has rock element probably are hip to it anyway. But the top 10 in alphabetical order again. Black Keys, Dropout Boogie, that duo from Ohio, back with some legitimate blues-based raw rock and roll. Eric Ailes, The Crown, which is actually nominated for a Grammy. It's his first Grammy nomination, long overdue. One of my favorite guitar players of all time. So amazing, Eric Ailes. And talk about, one of the originals, Buddy Guy, The Blues Don't Lie. This man is in his 80s and he's kicking butt. He's playing guitar, hasn't lost a step on record. And his vocals also still sound great. Very, very impressive. And that's also nominated for a Grammy. Then King's X, the trio, came back from a long hiatus with 3 sides of one. Also back after a long absence is Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. A little bit of heavy metal on this chart. Next up is a record from a group that's been away for a long time, and so it's called The Gang's All Here. Skid Row is back, and this is just a rock solid, no pun intended, hard rock album from beginning to end. Speaking of that, Slash is back with his fourth basically solo effort, but also including Miles Kennedy and the group of the Conspirators. Another fantastic rock record from Slash and his team. Another double entry, Jack White, one of my favorite artists today, who's so independent and just love the way he does things. And he came out with Fear of the Dawn, which is a very hard-edged, intense record. And you'd be surprised how funky some of those tracks get on that record. And then he came out later in the year with Entering Heaven Alive, which is a more mellow offering. Still a little bit of funk creeping in here and there. But Jack White gets 2 spots. Edgar Winter is next with Brother Johnny. And of course, Johnny Winter was Edgar Winter's brother. Rock and roll legends. Johnny Winter is a guitar and blues legend. And this record pays such great tribute to Johnny. It has amazing guitar players on it, including Billy Gibbons and a bunch of others, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and on and on. If you like, the way rock and blues sounded in the early 70s, don't miss that record. Lastly is Neil Young and Crazy Horse, World Record. So a new album from them. And again, if you like that old school crunch, mixed in with some, more folksy type stuff, that's a one for you. And the lyrics on that one are pretty captivating as well, about some of the issues going on in the world today. Lastly, on the albums list is the top 10 album reissues of 2022. Thankfully, our archivists are digging down and bringing some stuff to us. It's been in the vaults. Engineers are taking the time to remaster and remix things so they sound better. And, that's been really great to see. And one thing that's helped fuel that a lot is the record store days that they have now. So they'll do a lot of special releases just for that, usually on vinyl, but sometimes also on CD. So the top 10 reissues of 2022, Beatles Revolver Special Edition. That's 5 CDs of that classic Beatles album with all kinds of alternate takes. BT Express, Do It Till You're Satisfied. It has some extra tracks, single versions of some of the hits like Express and Do It Till You're Satisfied. Been remastered, still sounds so good. Great album. Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion Super Deluxe. That is 7 CDs of what was a 2 CD set originally. And, great stuff with Slash and the guys on that. Fuzzy Haskins from Parliament. Radioactive was re-released on vinyl for Record Store Day. So check that out. It's got a lot of people from the P-Funk camp on it, although no George Clinton. Michael Jackson, 40 years since Thriller. 2 CD set. Has, songs that didn't make the cut. So very interesting to hear those and, remastered again. So next is Elton John, Madman Across the Water, 50th anniversary. That's on 3 CDs and a Blu-ray. Some classic Elton John. The next is a box set, Kool and the Gang. The albums, Volume 1, it's 1970 through 1978, 13 CDs. And it's, for me, that's all the Kool and the Gang you probably really ever need, because that was the period for them when they were one of the greatest funk bands of all time, before Ladies Night and J.T. Taylor, and they became more pop and, took the edges off their funk. So Prince, The Gold Experience. That was another Record Store Day one, came out on vinyl. Had not been available for a while, even though it's from 1995. To me and a lot of fans, arguably Prince's greatest album after the 80s, I put that up there with the Symbol album and probably Rainbow Children, which is controversial, as his best, 21st century, well, I think those were late 20th century. But anyway, from 90s forward. Next up is Slave, Showtime. And I had on Sam Carter recently to celebrate Showtime coming out, being released on CD with some extra tracks. It's remastered. Such a great classic Slave album. It's got Snapshot on it. So many other great songs. Last is Neil Young, Harvest 50th Anniversary Edition. This is his classic album from the early 70s on 3 CDs and 2 DVDs with live performance. Again, all those albums are available at funkinstuff.net. Go there, enjoy them, sample them, and buy some of them. Support these artists. As we look ahead to 2023, some of my holiday wishes are getting out to see more live shows and come to Charlotte, or at least North Carolina. These groups and bands that are still performing, make sure you come here. A lot of times they kind of, go in neighboring states, and especially the Northeast, but not always here in Charlotte or North Carolina. How about an easing of inflation? That's a big overall wish for me. The cost of living, whew, man, give us more money to spend on music and concerts, and don't kill us. So hopefully a stabilizing of the economy. We'll see, whether it's gas, food, entertainment, everything. Funk, more funk related books. Hey, contact me to edit them if you're an artist. It's what I do. And I'll give you a great rate. And again, that'll be another labor of love for me. But we want more funk related books. Again, more funk, new funk. We need new funk. It shouldn't just be old school or legacy stuff or rehashing. There's still a lot of artists out there that can create fantastic new funk, whether they're newer artists or the old artists. Bring it. The audience wants it. The audience is ready for it. The audience is hungry for it. More remasters, more deluxe reissues, more videos, everything. Bring it. I wish everybody, above all else, good health throughout the year. If you don't have your health, if we learn nothing else through the pandemic, health is everything. It all begins with health. Take care of yourself. I want to keep you as a viewer for many years to come. And, I just wish happiness and good fortune to all of Truth and Rhythm viewers, your family, your friends, music lovers everywhere, and just peace on earth. Man, why is that so hard to achieve in this day and age? Let's get along. Let's not be polarized. Let's use common sense and common decency and be kind and treat everyone like you want to be treated. It's so basic. I tell my son it all the time. We want more young talent in the year who can really play, who understand, the basis of real funk, real soul, real jazz, real rock, real blues. Update it, make it your own, but know how to play. Let's have more reunions. These legacy bands, you'll see them out there touring and stuff. You'll see the names out there, but a lot of times it might only be one original member, a couple original members, no original members, different versions of the groups. One thing that's really come forward during all these years of Truth and Rhythm has been the division of original members of groups or longtime members of groups. And it's just so tragic to see. It's usually over money. And it's just such a travesty, so tragic for listeners and fans, and just for the creative music that's made. I know it can be tough, and there's some grudges and things like that, but please try to make peace, unify, come together for the good of the art. Want more P-Funk in 2023. George, there's so much stuff in the vaults. There's so much stuff that's been recorded and could come out. I think George Clinton's been preoccupied with art, which is great. I admire him for doing that and being a bit of a Renaissance funketeer with that. But, man, come on, bring the P-Funk, and there should be a P-Funk documentary or movie for sure. We've waited forever for that. It needs to be done right, but it's way overdue. More Prince Vault material. It's been a while. Last year they had the Welcome to America album. That was an unreleased album. That was very cool. There's so much more. How about just setting up a web portal where people can download and access the hundreds probably of live shows that have been professionally recorded and video recorded of Prince. Why not make it available? The audience is there. The money's there to be made. Please get on that, whoever's managing the vault. Also, let's have a Prince documentary. Let's do it right. You know, I've heard one's in the works, but we haven't seen it yet. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Get your act together. Start getting in the funk bands that deserve to be there. War, Rufus, Shaka Khan, Ohio Players, Kool and the Gang, the Commodores, Bootsy Collins on his own. It goes on and on. It's unbelievable that these groups are not yet in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, especially when you look at some of the people that have gone in. It's just craziness. And, you know, maybe the people like you, viewers and listeners, need to do a bit of an uprising or a letter writing campaign, whatever it takes. Let's get these bands where they belong. Speaking of Hall of Fame, support the Funk Center. It's, you know, what we have. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame snubs a lot of funk artists. So at least, you know, we have the Funk Hall of Fame and the Funk Center, the Funk Museum in Dayton. They've got a new home. News just came to light after, you know, losing their location a couple of years ago. They've got a new one. So look for that to open in 2023, I believe. And it's in a suburb of Dayton. So that is great to hear, because it's all about educating new generations and keeping the funk alive. Lastly, for the new year, I look forward to Truth and Rhythm continuing to grow. As we look ahead to the new year, here are the shows that are on tap. We're going to have Ricky Peterson, another Prince-themed show to start us off in the new year, followed by Joyce Kennedy, lead singer of Mother's Finest and just a legend. They've been around for over 50 years now, and she's still doing it. Meli'sa Morgan, the great R&B singer, she's coming on. Laurie Williams, just a master musician, multi-instrumentalist, saxophone, keyboard, so much, was a member of Sea Wind and also worked extensively with Quincy Jones. Billy Nunn, who was an original Stone City Band member and co-wrote Mary Jane, also was part of a group called Splendor that was produced by Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire, and worked with his brother Bobby Nunn. He'll be coming on. Chucky Booker, well known for his solo success as well as being a member of Tease and also orchestrating Janet Jackson's massive, historic Rhythm Nation tour of 1990. Gerald Albright, the master saxophonist, will be on. He also plays all other woodwind instruments, and he plays bass too. He's coming on. Then we have Jody Sims, who was the drummer for Switch, somewhat of an underrated great band from the late 70s and early 80s. Next up is Gary Hudgens from P-Funk, keyboard player. He'll be coming on. And then last on our list, but certainly many more to come that I'm not going to divulge yet, is Donald Payne. And he was actually a member of the Crowd Pleasers that put out a record in the late 70s, a great funk album, and was in Ginny's band. So that'll be very cool too. It's with that, you know, I have requests all the time, and I love getting requests from viewers of who they'd like to see on the show. And many of the people who have been on the show have been the result of requests. Although in most cases, you know, the people that are requested are ones that I have been after for some time. And you'd be surprised how long it can take to get one of these folks on the show, especially when they're hard to contact, or you got to go through an intermediary manager or somebody like that. And of course, in a lot of cases, they're very busy. So I hunt them down, I track them down, I do what I can. So as we close out this Truth and Rhythm Year in Review special, again, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude to viewers to support the show. Those that can do so monetarily, especially thank you for helping keep the lights on around here, and just for, you know, loving the music and supporting the artists and supporting what I do to support them. It's your show. Again, I said, tell me who you want to see. Tell me what you think. I love hearing from everybody. Just let me know what your favorite music is, what your favorite artists are, all of it. Keep the communication coming. It's a two-way street. And, part of that is, when the world premieres happen for the show, which are usually, if it's a two-part show, world premieres on YouTube are usually on a Monday and part 2 on a Tuesday. And then Wednesday, both parts are available at funkandstuff.net. Then on Thursday, first part of the audio-only podcast is through all podcast services. Second part is on Friday. And then also something that's new from 2022 has been Truth and Rhythm Shorts. These are 60-second or less segments from the shows. And there's a lot of those out there now, too. Talk about expanding the platform. So, those that don't want to take as much time as a full interview takes, you can get just little bite-sized nuggets through that. Come to the world premieres because there's a live chat feature through YouTube, and fans, communicate, talk about the episode. I try to be there as much as possible. I'm usually signed on. I can answer questions. I can provide feedback. It's a lot of fun. So be there for the world premieres, Mondays and Tuesdays. If it's more than two-part episode, then it would be on Sunday, 7:00 Eastern, always. Again, my ambition is that every Truth and Rhythm show is the best interview that person has ever done. So that's really what I strive for. Don't miss the Metro Retro Radio specials and reruns. Look out for new ones that I will do in 2023. I will post and promote them, and Modern Metro Radio will as well. Go to funkstuff.net for all the past shows of top 12 funk tracks of all time. Dr. GX's picks. All 5 past episodes are available at funkstuff.net. Huge. In February, it looks like, of 2023, Truth and Rhythm will top 10,000 subscribers. That is unbelievable. Starting from nothing, 0, with no marketing, just grassroots, just fans being ambassadors for what it is. Growing like that is just awesome. And so please keep sharing with friends and family. Spread the word. Be ambassadors for Truth and Rhythm. Also, during 2023, probably around late summer, going to hit 300 episodes of Truth and Rhythm. 300. And most of them are multi-part. So it's just several hundred hours of original interviews of contemporary music's foremost masters of the groove. With that, hopefully I've about covered everything. And, I hope I wasn't too long-winded. I'm trying to, get everything out there to you. And I only do this once a year to direct message with you. Hopefully you've been patient. I really appreciate if you've made it to this point. But if you have, the reward is also going to be the holiday greetings and good cheer from music superstars. The stars that have been on Truth and Rhythm, past guests, are going to send their good cheer and greetings out to you right now. And so roll that clip.
Hi, everybody. This is Micah High, the goddess of soul, as I was named by my boss of 32 years, the godfather of soul, Mr. James Brown. I'm here today to thank Dr. GX for shining a light on my work this year. I also want to wish all of the fans and listeners of Truth and Rhythm a very happy holiday season and a happy new year. Stay safe, spread love, be well, and don't forget to make it funky. Make it funky. Make it funky. Make it funky. Oh, yeah. All right. Come on, everybody. Shake a hand now. Oh, it's Christmas time. Show a little love to your brother. Merry Christmas.
Hey Scott, Dynamite Dave Liebert here, wishing you and yours the funkiest of Christmases and an even funkier New Year's. Be well, be safe, my friend.
Hi everyone, this is Dodge, bass player with 7-Eleven, the funk band in Holland. We'd like to wish everyone groovy holidays and a funky new year with a lot of truth and rhythm. Eat that funk alive in 2023.
Hi, JW here with Truth and Rhythm. We'd like to wish you all around the world a wonderful and safe holiday season. Be safe out there, be careful, and love every day. And Happy New Year. Bye.
Hello, my name is Joe Bowie, Joseph Bowie from Defunct. I'm a former guest of the Truth and Rhythm show of Scott Goldfine's. What a great show. Anyway, I just want to wish all the listeners to a happy holidays in 2023. Be happy, be happy, be happy, and be funky.
To Scott and the Truth and Rhythm family, it's Larry Williams in Los Angeles. Have a wonderful holiday season and a beautiful 2023.
Hey everybody, this is Kipper Jones here. I think I'm reaching you from Houston, Texas this beautiful weekend, but I just want to reach out to the Truth and Rhythm family to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and an awesome and incredible New Year. To you and your families, be blessed, be safe, and do all those things that you want to do in the upcoming year, all right? Love you. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer.
Hi, it's Meli'sa Morgan, and I want to wish the whole family of Truth and Rhythm a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I mean, you better have a happy one.
Hi, this is Rob Harper, wishing everybody a safe and happy holiday season. I want to see you in 2023. Got new music, a lot of great things going on. So let's keep that funk alive. See you next year.
Come, they told me. Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. It's me and my drum. Hi, I'm Alvin Taylor, reminding you that when it comes to funk and stuff, everything is on the one, baby. Greetings to you on behalf of Scott D. Dr. GX Goldfine and the Truth and Rhythm show and staff. I'm here to wish you all a happy holiday season and a prosperous new year in 2023.
Hey everybody, it's Gerald Albright, expressing holiday wishes to one and all, especially Scott Goldfine and Truth and Rhythm. Scott, I really enjoyed our interview, and thank you for all that you do for music and all that you do to support what we do to get this music to the masses. Happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you in the coming year. Peace and blessings. Take care.
What's up, everybody? It's Benzel Baltimore Cowan from the legendary P-Funk. Just want to send a special shout out to Scott and thank everybody from the Truth and Rhythm family. Have a happy holiday and a great new year. Keep it funky on the one.
Hello everybody, this is Dwayne Tudor wishing you a Merry Christmas and a fantastic holiday, as well as a prosperous New Year. Remember, keep the truth and rhythm and the fun in the funk.
Hello, I'm Kim Miller of the Instant Funk Band. Just wanted to reach out and say happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Enjoy yourselves and be safe. Don't stop funking. God bless.
Hi, this is Marlon McClain. Happy holidays and the best of 2023. Much love.
Hi, everybody. This is Melba Moore. Happy holidays. Season's greetings.
Hey, everybody. Shirley Hayden chiming in. Thank you for all the love that you have expressed this year and the many years that you have kept the funk alive. This year I did an interview with Scott Goldfine, and it was very well received. Thank you again, Scott and your team. Thank you again, my P-Funk family. Thank you for loving the women of Parliament Funkadelic. We're still here, looking to funk again. And hey, I look forward to 2023. Happy New Year.
Hey, this is Simon Bartholomew from the Brand New Heavies, live from London, wishing everybody from the Truth in Rhythm team, Scott Goldfine, and all the people want to dream, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2023. Brand New Heavies got a new record coming out and all good stuff like that. See you then and have a good one. Bye now.
Hey everybody, this is Tomi Jenkins. I just wanted to take the time to wish each and every one of you a very happy, blessed, safe, and prosperous New Year and holiday season. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. All right? See you next year, y'all. Peace. Be blessed.
Hello, Truth and Rhythm fans. This is Michael Hepburn of Pleasure, wishing all of you and Scott happy holidays and a very happy new year for 2023. Remember, always keep a little pleasure in your mix. Bye now.
Hey, back from those greetings. Thank you so much again to all those stars. I hope you enjoyed it. And I've got another star with me here to close us out. And it's my son, Nathan, has a few words for you too. Nathan?
Just wanted to wish everyone a happy holiday and good health and a happy new year. And I also just wanted to say I'm thankful to my dad for keeping the funk alive and for igniting so many people's passion in music and giving them the opportunity to take a deeper look into what they enjoy.
Thank you, Nathan. And he's a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan too, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, among others. So apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So thank you to all the viewers and supporters of the show. I've said it throughout this program, but I can't thank you enough for the support, whether it's in your eyeballs, your ears, or if you can make donations. So much appreciated for that kind of monetary support. Have a fantastic new year. Health, happiness, good fortune, and keep the funk alive always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.